All right, it's 6:30 a.m. Time for step one. First thing I gotta do is get this thing uncovered and prep the fire, get the grill cleaned, and be rocking and rolling. This is what my char grill or smoking champ looks like after my last cook. I just gotta scrub the grates clean after they get nice and hot. The area below the cooking chamber is clean. Just have some foil down there for the next cook, so it's already ready to go. And firebox is clean and empty. There's no ash or anything in there. It's in good shape, and fire grate here is ready to go. Gonna fill that up with some lump coal this morning to get started, and I'm gonna be putting hickory wood on top of that to burn for the cook. And my plan is to be done cooking between 2 and 3 o'clock. Anywhere in there I'd be good. It's going to be about a 6-hour cook. All right, the lump coal is catching fire there. I gotta prep my hickory wood. All right, 6:41, and the lump coal is ready to go into the firebox, and I've got my wood prepped. Sometimes I just get the Kingsford hickory logs from pick them up at Home Depot. They're great to use, and I can't get local hickory from a distributor around here. So when I want hickory, I go with this. Works great. Some of the logs are a little bit bigger than I prefer. This is one that just came out of the bag. Some of them are a little bit longer, but that's generally about what they look like. And so I like to cut them down a little bit. Just use my reciprocating saw and a little hand axe, and pretty easy to cut those logs in half and whack them once and kind of create various sizes. And that just takes a couple minutes to do. So let's get the fire into the box. All right, I've got my fire in the box. I've got my lump coal there in a nice little pile. I've got one of the larger pieces of hickories on top of that fire burning. And I've got 2 other pieces kind of tucked away over there away from the fire. I've got those sitting there on standby, so they're going to get really hot, but they're not going to catch fire because they're not actually contacting the fire, and they're just enough distance in there. So I'm going to close this up. That one piece of wood's going to create a little bit of dirty smoke for a minute until it gets fully hot, but it'll be fine here soon. There's no food going on the grill yet anyways. And I'm just going to let this get up to a high temperature. I actually want this firebox to get up, actually I kind of like to get it up to close to 400 degrees, so I can kind of go ahead and clean the grates and everything, get them ready to go. See the smoke starting to flow through there now. Now that the smoke's coming through there, I'm going to go ahead and close this one up, and smoke will start coming out the chimney there. And it might be a little bit white here for a little bit, but that'll thin out. It'll be nice and clean here when that wood gets nice and hot. But I want this temperature gauge way up here to get up to about 400 degrees. That'll get the whole pit nice and hot, and the temperature will be consistent all throughout. Those grates will get really hot, and then I'll go ahead and scrub those clean, and then I'll let the temperature fall back down. I'm going to be cooking around 250 degrees to 275 degrees today for the duration, and looking to cook about 6 hours. Oh, and by the way, vents are wide open. When I'm using wood, I keep vents wide open. That vent's wide open. I might even open up that drawer a little bit, but for now that's fine. I just want temperature to get really high. 6:48, that's heating up. Now it's time to throw on a pot of coffee and prep the meat. All right, the time is 7:05, and temperature's up where it needs to be and still climbing. It's at just about 400. Smoke's running clean, that's fine. Coffee's inside brewing. Everything's going good over here. Let's have a look inside the box. Nothing's changed. Got a log burning on a pile of lump coal and a couple on standby over there. It's nice and hot. No adjustments needed at this point. I'm just going to let it stay nice and hot and finish brewing my coffee. And in a minute, I'm going to open this up and give those grates a good scrubbing. I'll rotate them. I like to take the one that's over there and put it over here and let it sit closer to the firebox for a minute and scrub that good. And meantime, this is going to be cooling down once that fire kind of burns down a little bit to the temperature I need it to be at. Probably take about a half hour to an hour to do that. In the meantime, I'm going to be inside prepping up the meat to go on the grill. Looked out the window and noticed that my temp gauge all of a sudden spiked to over 500 degrees. I wonder if one of those, one of my standby pieces caught fire. Yep. That happens. No biggie. I was gonna grab that up out of there. See, what happened is this wood right there fell over. That fell over off the pile and caught the standby wood on fire. One lit up and then the other one lit up, and that's why I got my little burn pit over here right next door. Let's set those aside. There we go. That actually works out nice. Sorry, there you go. It actually works out nice. I'm just going to let the temperature cool down now, and we'll be ready to cook real soon. These guys, I just set them there like that. It might actually just blow back out and be ready to throw back in the pit here in a minute. So that worked out well. Those two pieces kind of blew out right away. They're just going to sit there and smolder until they stop smoldering, but they're going to stay hot, and eventually they're going to go back in there. In the meantime, I came over here and gave these a nice little scrub, so grates are now clean and ready to go. Now really I just need to get the finished prepping the meat to go on there. Temperature's going to get right down to 250 where I want it, and we'll be ready to go. Oh, I'm going to put the before I do that, I'm going to throw a little temperature probe down there with my remote so I can keep an eye on the temp from inside. Decided to rig up two probes today, one over here and one back there, so I can keep an eye on temperature from a couple different spots here, since I'm going to have a lot of stuff going on this grill today. As long as they're not in the way of the food, we're cool. Alright, for the smoker today, we've got a 4-pound rack of beef ribs, and my favorite way of doing beef ribs on the smoker like that is I like to apply some Lee & Perrins Worcestershire sauce and then a good coating of a steakhouse rub that I like. So I just like to give it a nice, just to wet it down, coating of Lee & Perrins, and then a nice coating of the steakhouse rub. There we go, that's looking good. Cut it up nice. Just pat it down a little tiny bit. And this one's good to go. Alright, I've also got two 3.4-pound racks of St. Louis style spare ribs ready to go. I did pull the membrane off of these. I don't pull the membrane off of the beef ribs. This one had a little extra flap of skin right here that right here that I trimmed off, and that's that flap of meat. I'm going to be putting that on the smoker too, and that's going to be a snack of mine here in a little bit. So one of them I'm going to just coat with a little olive oil and both sides, and some barbecue rub that I like. The other one I'm going to coat with this chili that I make. It's a salsa made out of chili darabole peppers and garlic. It's really good, really hot and spicy. I'm going to coat that liberally with that, and then apply some barbecue rub as well. So one of them's going to be kind of traditional barbecue. The other one's going to be really nice and spicy, and a little sweet too. It's going to be great. Alright, these are now seasoned up and ready to go. Olive oil and barbecue rub, and chili darabole salsa with barbecue rub. By the way, that chili darabole is chilies, tomato sauce, a little water, salt and garlic, and oregano. And of course, you get to season your ribs however you want to season them. That's just basically the process I was showing you. You don't even need to use olive oil or any other binders on the meat. Usually the meat's already damp enough for the rubs to stick, so you just lightly sprinkle on there and kind of pat it down, and your rubs will stick. And I just like to. It's just the way I do it. So anyway, this is ready to go on the smoker. Alright, temperature's right where I wanted them to be. See, one's showing at 276, the other one's showing at 255. That's the one that's reading at 276. That's the one that's reading at 255. And there's always going to be a little variation like that on this rig. Let's get these on. Alright, I've got them arranged on the smoker. Beef, spicy, regular, and my little snack up top over here. And I've got to be careful to make sure that that meat is not actually making contact with that temperature probe over there, or it will throw that temperature probe off. And this one over here is safe. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to monitor the temperature. I'm going to make sure that I keep it. My target range today is between 250 275. I'm a little happier with closer to 275. I want these to be a little bit warm. I'm not going to wrap them. I'm going to cook them for about 6 hours, or until I feel that they are done and ready to go. I am going to open up this lid about every 2 hours and rotate them so that they each get to spend some time in the different temperature zones of this barbecue, and they'll be good to go. Later on, I'm going to be adding some other things onto this grill too, and looking to have everything done and ready to go by about I was hoping for like around 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, right in the middle of game time. All right, so it is 7:56. I just closed the lid. Let's just have a quick look at the fire. So, fire's a little weak. And I'm going to go ahead and grab one of those chunks that I took out earlier. Get that in the box. Take the other one. And get it over here on standby. Go. And that'll keep the temperature right where I want it. There she goes. We're running some nice clean smoke. A lot of flavor. That hickory is going to make that meat taste delicious. All right, it's now 8:10, just a little over 10 minutes since I closed the lid. I want to show you where the temperature is inside there, 257 and 253. And just to show you real quick what the fire looks like over here. Look at that, burning beautifully. That one chunk of hickory's producing some beautiful, great smelling smoke. And just to give you a quick idea what it looks like inside the cooking chamber. Hard to see, but there's a nice little thin layer of smoke that you can see there, blowing through there, and that hot air carrying all that flavor from that burning hickory wood. And it's going to make it taste amazing. I'm going to try to leave this alone for a while now and go chill out. Okay, it's 9:30 now. We're an hour and a half in, and I just opened up the lid and I just did a little rotate here. Show you what's going on. I took that rack of beef ribs that were over here and I moved them over here. You see those are taking on the smoke real well. Kind of got a little curl going on there with the meat because the membrane shrinking up on the bottom side. That's kind of normal. It's looking really good. That meat's tendering up really nice. And the pork ribs are looking great. No need to do anything here. My snack is ready to go. I'm gonna take that and enjoy me a nice little bite here. Cool, looking good. Okay, it's 11 o'clock, and I thought I'd give you an update here on what we got. So a couple things I noticed. One, I decided to change my target temperature range because I was feeling that maybe the 275 range was a little high. And especially since this guy worried me a little bit over here, because it was right over here close to where the bulk of the heat's coming out from the firebox, and it started to curl up a little bit. I was worried that maybe it might dry out, but I checked it. I kind of flipped it over and kind of scored it just a little bit on the skin to see if and juice just came pouring out. It was looking really good, and the meat feels really nice and tender. So I decided to move it over to the cooler side of the grill, just to let it chill over there. We're looking really good. Color's coming out really nice. But I decided to start running the temperature in the 225 to 250 range. It's amazing how much heat just one little tiny piece of wood like that puts out. That chunk of hickory burning right there easily puts out the 250 to 275 range. So it pops up a little bit to around 250, 265, and then cools right back down to the 240, 245 range. And that's what I want to do. So I don't really need to do anything here. I stuck a little toothpick in this guy here to mark that as the spicy rack. I am going to give a little rotate here. Move that one over there. Move that one over there. And then bring this one back over here. There we go. Going to leave the beef ribs right where they are. Now, one other thing I'm going to do right now. So I like to experiment when I do barbecue. So what I've got here is I've got a baking dish here of a cup and a half of plain white rice. I'm going to go ahead and put this on the smoker here. And I'm going to add, I've got here about 3.5 cups of water and coconut milk. I'm going to put that in there. There we go. And I'm going to put a lid on that. And I figure in about an hour or so that rice is going to start to kind of pop through the top there. And then I'm going to add some prawns on top of that and cook up the prawns in there. And this is a special little experiment, a little dish I'm trying out for actually one of the ladies in my house. My wonderful 18-year-old daughter is not a huge fan of barbecue and beef and pork, but she loves seafood and chicken, and so I'm making a little something special for her. I don't know how this is going to turn out. Hopefully it turns out awesome, but I'll keep you posted. We'll close this back up and come back here. I'm going to have to make a little adjustment here because this is hitting the lid, so I'm going to just take this off and then close that up, and got another 2.5, 3 hours to go. Okay, it's now 12:35, so I'm about a little over 4.5 hours into my cook. Let's have a look, see what's going on underneath here. Oh man, okay. These ribs are starting to look really, really good. See how the bones are starting to pull away from the meat there? That's what I'm looking for, and it's one of the indicators that the ribs are doing really well. I've rotated them one time now, so they're doing good. The beef ribs are looking good here. I'm not going to mess with those. I'm going to throw some sauce on these pork ribs here in a minute. Now, I had some leftover shrimp from this dish, and I opened up this a little bit ago. I tasted the rice. The rice was already starting to get fluffy and soft, and it tasted amazing. This dish is going to turn out great as long as I don't end up overcooking the rice, and the shrimp inside there are looking like they're getting cooked really well, so I think that's going to be a winner. And those are the few shrimp that wouldn't fit on top, so I'm just smoking those, and I'm going to be snacking on those here in a minute. Now, one more thing I'm going to be adding to this is I've got here some portobello mushrooms. I cleaned out the caps, and inside here is a mixture of crab meat, cilantro, and zucchini, and a little lemon zest. I mixed that all up, and I put that in there. And I'm going to place these up here on the rack like so. I'm going to put all 4 of those up there, and I'm going to let those cook up for about an hour. That should be enough to soften up the zucchini. And I'm doing this because the wife is on a special, what's called AIP diet, some diet where there's certain things you can't eat, whatever, to get rid of allergens and things like that. I don't know. Look up AIP. It's autoimmune protocol diet. So this is an AIP compliant meal here. She can actually have pork and beef, but she can't have the seasonings that's on the pork and the beef. There's peppers, there's stuff like that she can't have. That's part of the diet. So anyways, made these 4. I think they're going to turn out great. I'll let you know. But anyways, I'm going to close this up here. I'm going to come back in a minute, and I'm going to sauce this up here and just let the sauce really kind of caramelize and adhere to all the meat. I'm going to do both sides, leaving that one alone. But I'm going to sauce up the pork ribs, and we're getting real close to game time. It's football season, and kickoffs at 1:05. So I'm right on target. Things are looking good. All right, I just pulled this off the smoker. It's been on. The total cook time was about 2 hours, and oh my gosh, I tasted that rice. It tastes amazing. Those shrimp look perfect. Those are some gorgeous prawns. Ah, dude, this is a hit. This is a total hit. All right, it is now 1:10. We're getting really close. I sauced up the back sides of these pork ribs, and they're looking amazing. Got the bones showing nice there. That meat is really starting to shrink up well, so I'm going to flip those over and sauce up the other sides. That's, let's see here. Oh, yeah. Beautiful. All right, and these portobello mushrooms with the crab and zucchini mix here. There's a little olive oil drizzle in there too. That's looking really great. I had a little leftover piece of zucchini I just tossed on the grill over here. Man, this is coming out wonderful. I can't wait for it to be done. I think one of the hardest things about barbecuing ribs is being patient. I kicked up the temperature here a little bit here at the end because I want to get this sauce to kind of caramelize and get a little crust up just a little bit. And you know what? Everything is looking awesome. Oh, I picked up this this rack of beef here just to see. It's very, very tender. I was worried that maybe this was going to be a little overcooked. No. This rack of beef ribs is tender and looks so good. And those portobello mushroom caps, I just need to let those finish kind of baking there in that heat and that smoke. Oh, you know, those ribs are going to be so great. I just need like 15 more minutes. I'm pulling them off and they're good to go. That rice and prawn dish, that coconut rice prawn came out so good. Oh, I can't wait till this is all done. All right, it's 2 o'clock and it's time. These ribs are done. It's time to bring them off the grill. Sorry about all the camera movement here, but I didn't feel like dealing with a freaking tripod today, and I'm just doing this on my own. Look at that. Oh, can you see that? Okay, see what I'm looking at right now is how easy and flexible this rack of ribs is here. This is beef ribs, and that if I torque that enough, if I just let that fall apart, it'll fall apart. This is a beautifully done rack of beef ribs. I'm going to carefully, there we go, put that right there. Okay, that's one. Next, I'm going to take these pork ribs off. This is the spicy rack. Oh yeah, see how nice and flexible that is. Got bones showing nicely. Yeah, that's great. That's going to go inside to rest up. Here's the other rack. Look, oh gosh, look how flexible that is. That is tender. That is, oh, nice and tender. There's the underside, just looking beautiful. Let that rest up a little bit. Now these portobello mushrooms, I stuck a fork in there just to see if everything's done. It's done. There's a little bit of juice that was developing. Yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. It's just falling apart there. I just wanted to make sure, you know, really this just needed to warm up, and yeah, those are going to be great. I'm gonna have to put the phone down, but these are coming. These are going onto this this little baking sheet right here, and it's time to eat. All right, I got these portobello mushroom caps here with the crab and zucchini, cilantro, lemon zest, olive oil mixture, offloaded, good to go. Have a look at what's left here at the grill. My tin foil down there, aluminum foil, did a hell of a job collecting all that drippage. I'm just going to let that cool down. Most of that's going to solidify. I'm just going to pick that up and roll it up, throw it away. Today was a very, very successful cook. All right, let's cut into this, see what we got. These are the regular. Look at that. Come apart, nice and easy. Look at that. That is beautiful. And the spices. Same thing. Beautiful. Gorgeous. It's nice. All right, over here, we got the big beef ribs. Gosh, look how easy that comes apart. Love it. All right. That is nice. Beautiful. Let's take a little piece of that. Oh, it's hot still. That was delicious. Nice job. Perfectly done. This was a success. I'm happy with all this. I gotta get me a piece of one of these spices here. Comes apart nice and easy. Right on. Super successful cook. Thank you so much for watching. Hope this video helps. And man, just love barbecuing. Take care.